Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. I just finished watching Avatar The Last Airbender for the first time and wanted to give you guys my thoughts on this series as a whole. We'll start this video off with a spoiler-free review, but as we get deeper into video, spoilers will be coming, but I'll let you know when spoilers are ahead. But overall, I thought that Avatar The Last Airbender was absolutely fantastic. I thought that it had a fantastic cast of characters, a fantastic world that it created, a fantastic, honestly, just charm to it that I wasn't expecting from the series. I probably laughed more times watching this show than I have any other cartoon series from the past 15 years or so, so it was rather, charming and funny, which is something I definitely wasn't expecting going into this show, given that it's an, action series with much deeper and darker tones to it, so that was something that definitely surprised me, but that's all for the spoiler-free review. Now we're going to get into the spoiler territory, so spoilers ahead, you have been warned. So going into Avatar The Last Airbender, I really knew nothing about this series. I didn't know any of the characters at all, other than Aang, since he is the main character of the show, but I knew nothing about how bending works. I knew nothing about the plot of the show. I knew nothing at all regarding the series, and throughout my watching of this series, I really was impressed at how deep and dark and well cemented this show is. For a children's show, let's be real, that came out almost 20 years ago. It premiered all the way back in 2005. Obviously, the series kicks off where we learn that the Fire Nation has attacked the other great nations in the world, basically starting this 100-year war that's been going on because the Avatar mysteriously disappeared 100 years ago, and it turns out that the Avatar Aang essentially accidentally froze himself in the middle of the ocean because he was afraid of being the Avatar. He was trying to run away from his destiny, and throughout the entirety of the series, we just learn more and more about the characters in this world. We learn more and more about the secrets that happen in the past, whether it be Zuko's past, whether it be Avatar Roku, the prior avatar to Aang, or other characters such as Sokka and Katara, their mother, what happened to her and how exactly she perished before the show began. And Avatar had a 3-season run consisting of what they call 3 books, being Water, Earth, and Fire. Those are the titles of the 3 books, and I thought that all 3 books were very good in their own right. The first book, being the Water book, really took it upon itself to kind of represent what this world is about and present it to us in a way, because obviously it's something that we're not familiar with. It's a brand new world, a brand new property they're trying to establish, and I really thought that it did a fantastic job doing so, having a nice mixture of the more serious episodes while also having those comedic elements in them, because as I said, I was really surprised by the charm it had. I didn't think it would be as funny or as charming as it was during the first season. The only episodes in the first season that I thought were kind of on the not so great side were the Great Divide and the Northern Air Temple. Those are the only 2 episodes that I thought were kind of weaker in the first season, but otherwise a fantastic way to start off the show. Then we move into book 2, being Earth, and this is where the show starts to get more serialized, if you will, starting to thread more plot details through the episodes. Overall, it was a good continuation of the show, although I felt like it lost some of its charm that it had established in the first season. Overall, the episodes were pretty good for the most part. The only ones I didn't really care for were the Avatar State, the Swamp, the Library, and Appa's Lost Days. Otherwise, I thought this was a great way to continue the show, and it starts to get much darker as the season goes on when we start to see the introduction of some new characters such as Azula and her gang, if you will, with Mai and Ty Lee. Also, the introduction of the Dai Li and the Earth King was a really surprising aspect of the show that I wasn't expecting. I feel like it could have been fleshed out a little bit more at some instances, but overall I thought it was very good. My only real complaint with season 2 is that we spent a long time working towards getting to Ba Sing Se, but then once we got to Ba Sing Se, they really only spent like 4 or 5-ish episodes in the city. We spent basically episodes 1 through 13 working on getting to Ba Sing Se, while only then spending 5 or 6 episodes actually in the city. So I would have liked to see less time traveling to Ba Sing Se and more time within Ba Sing Se, if that makes sense. Now we come to book 3, which was an interesting book in my opinion. This is the Fire book, and it's interesting for a couple of reasons. Obviously, this is the final season of the show, so at the end you have the big send-off in Sozin's comet, which was absolutely fantastic, and quite frankly, this series has some amazing action sequences, especially for a series that premiered almost 20 years ago. The other reason I find this interesting is 2 things. Number 1, the show kind of got back its charm that I thought was missing in the second season. I felt like some of the episodes, such as the headband and the painted lady, brought back back some of the charm, and the beach as well. The beach is one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. It brought back some of the charm that was missing in the second season, in my opinion. But the other reason I find this season interesting is because I noticed something that kind of, if you will, is the only criticism of the series, and that is that at times Avatar has a bit of a strange way of pacing itself. And here's what I mean by this. So first and foremost, the season starts off with the episode The Awakening, which is obviously continuing where the second season left off, with Aang being killed at the end of it. Then we move into The Headband, The Painted Lady, Sokka's Masters, The Beach, which are essentially 4 episodes that you could regard as quote-unquote filler, if you will. Yes, some of the characters introduced in the episodes, such as Sokka's Master, do appear in later episodes of the series, but nevertheless, they don't really progress the plot forward all that much. Although, as I said before, The Beach is probably my favorite episode of the entire show. I absolutely loved it. Then we have The Avatar and the Fire Lord, which obviously is a plot-centric episode. Then The Runaway, The Puppet Master, Nightmares and Daydreams, 3 episodes in a row that really don't at all move the plot forward, and in my opinion, The Runaway is just a strange episode in and of itself. Then we get to The Day of Black Sun, part 1 and 2 as episodes 10 and 11, and basically the reason why I listed out those episodes there, those first 11 episodes of the season, is because out of the first 11 episodes, only 4 of them are really plot-centric to the show, and the rest of them, the remaining, are just kind of filler, if you will, which in essence isn't necessarily a bad thing, because as I said before, I love The Beach. I thought The Painted Lady, The Headband were fantastic as well. Wasn't a fan of Sokka's Master, The Runaway, The Puppet Master. Nightmare and Daydreams I thought was good as well. My point being is, when you have a span of 11 episodes and basically you have 7 out of the 11 episodes being quote-unquote filler when it's the final season of the show, it's the climax of the series, it can be a bit jarring, if you will. It can kind of ruin the tone of this series, if you will. And that's my only criticism of the show, is that they seem to kind of put the filler in clumps instead of spreading them out throughout the series. Like, for example, Steven Universe is a series that is known to kind of have some more serious arcs followed by some lighter episodes pairing. So, for example, what I mean by this is, like, they'll have a big arc of the show that really moves the plot forward, then maybe they'll have a span of like 10 episodes that are quote-unquote filler. I feel like that's a better way to do so, to wrap up the plot that you're trying to tell in that small little, section of the series, as opposed to having it basically be that through episode 1 through 11, you have episode 1 being plot-centric, episode 6 being plot-centric, and then episodes 10 and 11 being plot-centric. Because then at the tail end of the season, they kind of do the opposite. The Western Air Temple, the Firebending Master, the Boiling Rock, the Southern Raiders, those are all episodes that involve heavy character development or moving the plot forward. Then you have episode 17, the Ember Island Players, which is essentially a filler episode, quote-unquote, but I still thought it was very enjoyable. Then you have the 4-part series finale in Sozin's Comet. So it really seemed like they front-loaded this season with filler, if you will, as opposed to kind of evenly distributing it throughout the season, which I would have liked to see them spread some of those episodes out for when Zuko joins the team, because Zuko joining the team honestly created an interesting dynamic that I felt like we didn't get to see all that much of, because he essentially joins the team in episode 12, and then, the series finale is 6 episodes away in episode 18, so I would have liked to see more of that. But overall, I thought Avatar The Last Airbender was an absolutely fantastic show, and honestly, I want to see more of it. I want to see more of these characters. I want to see more of this world, and I know there is The Legend of Korra, which I will be checking out at some point in the not too distant future, but I would really like to see more with the Avatar gang, with Aang, Katara, Sokka, Suki, Toph, General Iroh, and Zuko. I just thought these were fantastic characters and just all had really interesting character developments throughout the series. And we'll talk about what the future of Avatar could bring in another video, because it might see the return of some of these characters. But until then, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about Avatar The Last Airbender? Have you seen it? And if so, what do you think about the show? Do you agree with me that in season 3, they kind of have a weird pacing going on towards the beginning of the season? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.